All right, so this is using the Lasso tool to make selections. There are 4 different settings up here of the Lasso tool. There's the regular setting where it's a new selection. Every time you click and let go, it undoes your last selection and redoes a new selection. There's also called an add to or subtract from, and then an intersect. So I'm going to show you these first 3. So if I'm going to use my lasso, or there's 2 other types of lassos, the polygon or the magnetic, it's good for making a selection. So you start out making kind of a rough selection. So I'm going to try and highlight this jet. All right, and I'm going to use my magnetic lasso. That's very useful for kind of doing the first rough selection. So it's going to go around here, and it's going to start to do some messing up. And if it doesn't, I'm going to kind of force it to do some messing up here. And it does a pretty good job of doing something relatively close. All right, but then don't get too concerned about selecting too much or not enough, because we're going to go back and either add to or subtract from our selection and get exactly what it is we want. So I'm going to go around here. Now this might be a little bit rough. Sorry, I'm going to double click, and it does my selection. And now I'm going to go up here, and I have these 2 different options. I can either add to the selection. This works the best if you just use the regular lasso tool for this. My add to, I'm going to look for anywhere that I skipped over a spot. So if you zoom in over here, I'll zoom in. It makes it a lot easier to see. You can see right here I kind of skipped over part of the engine. So I'm going to add to this part of the engine, and it adds to the selection. Kind of missed this little part, so I'm just going to circle it and add to. Anywhere that I missed and overshot and am leaving out part of this so that I don't accidentally copy off and cut part of it. Thank you. But I can also subtract from, and it's this button right here. And like, for example, right here in the corner, I don't really want this sky, so I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to just sort of scroll around and take a look at parts that I got too much of. So I'm going to go over here and kind of get rid of it, maybe do it a little bit more subtly, get these little corners and get rid of them. And you got to be careful, because if you completely are on the wrong tool, you're going to undo your entire selection. Right here, I obviously made it way too big, and if this is too jagged, I might use one of the more specific tools like the polygon or something along those lines. Maybe I'll do the polygon and add back to it. But using those options within your selection tools, you can make your selection be exactly what you want it to be. It doesn't need to be like a first time shot at getting it perfect.